Hello again. Hello, everyone. Um, Welcome to ANU Open Day. And my name is Kanishk, and I'm the host for this session. To give you a brief idea about this session is going to technically be like on international student life and how students' life as an international student looks like. Um, I'm currently an alumni who recently graduated from ANU itself. I did my master's in international management from the College of Business and Economics, and I'm originally from India. And joining me in the panel today, we have Naomi and Z, who are also current students at ANU itself. So, hello everyone. Hi Naomi. Hi Z.
Hello.
Well, thank you for joining us. Before we start the session, if you would quickly introduce yourself by, answering a couple of questions, which is your name, as we all know now, which course are you studying, which semester are you in currently, what's your home country, and are you living on campus or off campus? We can start from Z.
All right. Well, my name is Z. I'm a third year medical student. It's a postgraduate degree. I'm living off campus in Phillip right now, and I'm Chinese.
Thank you, Z. Naomi.
Yes. So I'm Naomi. I know it's been said a million times. I'm doing a master's in biological science, and this is actually my last semester. I'm from Ghana, and I'm living on campus in Linakarma Lodge.
Well, fantastic, guys. So, to all our audience, how this is going to work is we'll be asking a couple of questions to both our panel members today, depending upon what type of international student life looks like. And what they're going to do is they're going to take the opportunity to share some insights and their success stories with you all to gain all the information about ANU as an international student. So, without further ado, let's get started. My first question is for Naomi. So Naomi, as I know that you were in the US before and you've completed your year 12 as well as an undergraduate course, and you would have definitely settled in well back then. But still, you decided to move to Australia. So would you like to share your thoughts and to see as to why you chose Australia out of all the places?
Yes. So yes, I had settled, but I think that I'm also a person that likes new things. So then immediately I settled. I was looking for a new place to move to. I spoke to like a lot of people around me, including my family, and actually I have some family members who had looked at Australia and ended up moving here to study. Um, so I kind of had it in the running of the countries that I was looking at. I was also considering like Canada, the UK, obviously big spots for international students. But I ended up settling on Australia just because it was interesting to me, but more especially, I looked at the universities that I was interested in applying to. And I applied to a couple, including the ANU. And I think that one of the strengths that Australian universities had for me, and especially ANU's draw, was just looking at the things that I wanted to study. And I found that it seemed like there were good colleges to do that in the ANU. So I ended up here. So I would say a little bit of chance, and also just taking the plunge, bravery, maybe. And yeah, I think Australia just seemed like a reasonable place for international students to be, especially postgraduate, which is kind of a little bit more independence, if you will. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Naomi. I'm sure with your experience, a lot of people would have thought, what Australia has to offer on students, especially international students. I would like to move on and ask my next question to Z. As you know, we know that you're a medical student, and as a typical medical student day, it's filled with challenges and new experiences, be it lectures, rural week, or hospital visits. Can you share some of your experience and also highlight how you've been able to manage your time in such a busy schedule?
Yeah, of course. So right now I'm a third year medical student, which is the first year into your 2 year of clinical placement. So I'm right now based in Canberra Hospital, but because of lockdown, we're actually on a 1 week pause of clinical placements. So as a clinical student, your day-to-day life really depends on what rotation you're in. So we do GP rotations, pediatric rotations, and then like surgical rotations, medical rotations, so internal medicine as a third year student. And in fourth year, then we'll have women's health, acute medicine, which includes ICU, anesthetics, and ED. So on and so forth. So essentially, you follow a team. You have a supervisor. You follow your team. Most of the time, you follow your registrar, and then you just observe and you do what you can with the team. So a long day would probably go from 6:30 till whenever you want to finish at night. My longest day has been 8 p.m. on the vascular surgery team, but my shortest day started at 7 o'clock in the morning and ended at 8:30 in the morning as well. So there's a huge flexibility in there. And then back when I was in year 1 or year 2, so that's a preclinical 2 years of medical school. You pretty much it's a like any other coursework of a master's degree. You go to classes on campus actually to the medical school. I think 4 days out of 5 you're actually on campus, and then 1 day out of week you have a clinical day, which is usually in the hospital. So that's the day that you do your tutorials with usually actor patients. So they don't actually talk to real patients until you get into year 3 and year 4. And then sometimes you have what we call bedside teaching, which is an intern or a RMO who takes you into the hospital to have a real life experience in chatting with 1 or 2 patients that they've hand selected for you. Time management wise, usually weekdays is pretty packed right now as a clinical student. Weekends we're supposed to study all the time, but personally I don't. So I usually take at least 1 day off. So Sunday is usually like my personal day. I do pole dancing in the city, and I go and I have fun and chat with my friends and stuff like that. And then Saturday is usually, I try to do some studies. So it is a packed schedule, but I think at the same time, you got a lot of flexibility as well.
Well, that's great. I guess with a lot of flexibility, you still have a lot of things to do, and you can do around in Canberra as even an international student, so which is good. So I'll move on and ask my next question to Naomi. So Naomi, as we all know that the pandemic has actually introduced us to online learning now. Would you like to shed some light on the similarities and differences that you may have found when compared with in-person classes?
Absolutely. I think one thing that I found pretty similar was the lectures. I mean, a lecture is a lecture. There was opportunity to interact, but also to maybe interrupt professors when you had questions, even online. And so if you had a burning question that you were like maybe nervous you were going to forget or whatever, you could always kind of put your hand up on Zoom. So that's kind of the same as a classroom setting. You could also go back and rewatch the lectures, which we always had the option to do. So that was really nice. I think big differences, of course, are interaction with other classmates. Sometimes just in person is a little easier to strike up a conversation with someone else. And so I found that online, you just have to put in a little bit more effort to make sure that you're actually talking to people in your classes. There's always opportunity for like group work and that sort of thing in most of the classes I've been in. So there's maybe like a forced interaction aspect as well. And so you will get to meet some of your classmates even online. But I think like building those relationships is just a little bit more effort. I think one thing that was pretty much always available to us was reaching out to professors and to TAs and demonstrators if we needed help. So our tutors, demonstrators, my professors, when I was online, were still pretty much available to me. And I think that like that was the big difference in terms of what is out there for classes. Other than that, I think that the other big difference is just online with so much flexibility of when you want to watch your lectures and, that sort of thing. You also want to be very careful about time management. And so I think just the structure schedule of having to go somewhere in person, when that goes away, sometimes you have to just be more careful about the way that you manage your time and make sure that you're actually on top of your classes and that sort of thing. And I think that was really pretty much it for me in terms of assignments and that sort of thing. The way that my classes were set up, they were always handed in online anyway. Most of my writing and researching and that sort of thing was always online anyway. So that wasn't too much of a jump. And then I think I have neglected to mention one thing, which is really big in my major, which is labs. Obviously, that is not a thing that you can move online. So when we initially, I began just last year when the pandemic had just hit, we ended up moving our labs online. So we watched some videos of the like procedures going on and that sort of thing. But the write-up and everything was pretty much the same.
Well, that's so good to know. Despite of, we are fighting a pandemic, we still could, face everything online, and everything was did not have any issues with it. Well, I do agree with you, Naomi, and I myself had done a couple of online courses as well while I was at ANU. And I sincerely feel that I never saw any difference when it comes to online or in-person classes, because I had the same professor talking about the same thing that he wanted to discuss. I had my peers all around. We used to have full version access of Zoom, which I think we still have it now. And we used to do all our chat sessions and everything, and anything that comes up, let's say as projects or group projects or individual ones itself, everything was available. We were so connected to it, to each and every one, that it never felt that we're sitting at home and we are doing anything online. So thanks a lot, Naomi. Thanks a lot for your valuable information. I'll move on and ask my next question to Z. Z, as we all know that many students at ANU say that Canberra is very balanced when it comes to city life and offerings to students. Do you agree or disagree with it? And would you like to share your thoughts on it, please?
Yeah, of course. I would say I agree with it if you have a car. And I say that because I think Canberra is sadly a car-friendly city. So before, when I lived on campus last year, before I had a car, I felt like, Canberra was just the civic little region that's immediately accessible from campus. But then I think I missed out on the opportunity to say, drive 10, 15 kilometers out to see the mountains, to see the nature and all of that. But as soon as I moved off campus, as soon as I had a car, I think Canberra, it's kind of just like opened up the opportunity to see more of ACT in general, and also regional New South Wales before lockdown and this whole COVID happened again. So I would say yes, I agree with the statement. And then there's so much to see out there. There's a lot of wineries just surrounding us, just outside of the ACT border. And then there's Mount Annesley for Lookout. There's Stromlo as well. And there's just many nature strips, like the Jerry Bombara wetlands and all of that. And so there's a lot of nature to explore. And then that's, at least that's what I've been doing for the past year or so to, I guess, to keep myself sane from, being a medical student. So I would highly recommend all of that. So, yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Z. I do agree with you that, and I also feel that Canberra is actually full of opportunities and places to visit. It's just the fact that you need to know where to go at what point of time. So now I've got two more questions left, which I will be actually asking to each and one of you. So this is basically for Naomi right now, and then we're going to jump onto you, Z, as well, for your thoughts on it. So as we all know, we all are international students, and we do have a lot of support services and activities available. So I would like to ask if you could shed some light on what support you thought was pivotal when you stepped into ANU campus. Was it adequate enough, or did you find any hindrances?
I'm going right, yes. So I think that the biggest help for me immediately I got on campus was just finding out about PARSA. And undergraduate students, the partner of that is ANUSA. And so these student organizations are just central. And I think that if you're looking for a dump of information, right, if you're looking for where do I find this and this and this office and that sort of thing, I think both of these organizations do pretty well to kind of collect all of this information and hand it out to students right during orientation week. So I found that really, really helpful when I got here, just because, yeah, like you have so many questions, including like opening a bank account or, the practicalities of living in a new country. So I thought that was really, really helpful for me, especially when I had just moved in to my accommodation on campus. And speaking of accommodation on campus, another big resource is our senior residents or SRs within our buildings. So if you live on campus, it's always really easy to just pop over and ask another student, if you have a question. And I think lastly, the on-campus resources that we have, including like our counseling department, our health co-op on campus, that sort of thing was really helpful for me. So I didn't have to like begin immediately by branching out. I could start with ANU and then get signposted from there. And so I think those were the really big ones immediately when I had just moved in.
That's good. Can we have Z sharing her thoughts, please?
Yeah, I agree with Naomi. You took the PARSA thing that I wanted to talk about. But I think as a medical student, we are a little bit, unfortunately, secluded from the rest of ANU postgraduate degrees. So we have our own, like, I guess, our own little parcel we call ANUMS, so ANU Medical School Student Society, which pretty much acts like what Parsa does. So that's a student support, student union kind of a structure. But even with that, we even in ANUMS, we rely on Parsa to give us information as well. So I think as a student, I think Parsa is definitely your go-to kind of a scenario. And I absolutely echo this health co-op situation. I think that was my biggest problem when I first moved to Canberra from Melbourne. It was to find out where I can fill out all of these health forms that I needed to fill out in order to start medical school. And I didn't really know where to find a good GP because I didn't really have a friend in Canberra before I moved from Melbourne. And then Health Co-op was like, okay, cool, we can do all of these things and everything is free because you're you're an ANU student. So then I didn't really need to prove anything and just say, okay, cool, I'll give you the form and you can fill it out. So I think ANU in general, just like Parsa, Co-op, and all of the services that Naomi mentioned, they're a good starting point. And then once you feel comfortable as a ANU student living in Canberra, then you can kind of branch out and find your own GP that you really like, and then find out other facilities within the city that offers the services that you need.
Well, absolutely, guys. And just to add on that as well, I reckon all of these support services are not just based on campus, but are also available online to all our international cohort who are unavailable and on campus at the moment due to unforeseen circumstances. And so that's something that you can definitely look into. You can go to their websites. They're all on Facebook and other social medias. If you're there, you can definitely go and try and have a look and see and get yourself updated. What are they doing so far? What have they done? And what are their future plans? What all sort of events and activities are they into that could help you in your understanding your ANU experience and getting all the information that you can. At last, I have one more question, and for both of you, and this time I'm going to start with Z. Would you like to share some tips and tricks with our audience on how to survive in ANU and thrive towards success?
I think that's a very universal question, and I would say the best thing to do is to find your group of friends that support you. I think that's how I got through my whole entire career as an international student, is to find a group of people that resonate with you, that will support you through all of the ups and downs that you go through. Yeah, that's my support network within Australia. It's just the people that I love and the people that love me. Within ANU specifically, I think just to be able to say, like, I'm going to walk around campus just to see what's available out there. One thing that I didn't do when I was an on-campus student was that I only restricted myself I lived in Loras, so between Loras and the med school. I didn't really, branch out, didn't look out to say, like, just randomly go into like a math building just to study there and then just to see, what ANU has to offer. So I would say just venture out a little bit, if you are a medical student, go look at other buildings, go try to find friends in other departments. Go to Canberra just on like a random day just to enjoy the sunshine, because Canberra's got like such amazing weather all the time.
Absolutely.
And I think that's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much. Moving on to Naomi.
I have, similar points, which is to connect with the people around you. I think it's just a good opportunity once you're in university to meet colleagues in your classes, to make friends, like Z just said. And so, just form these relationships that take you a lot further than just the ANU campus. And the next thing that I was going to say is to take complete advantage of all the resources that we have here on campus. As you can imagine, in my last semester, I'm looking for jobs, and I have been using every opportunity to contact ANU careers. They've been very helpful. There's pretty much something like that for every part of your ANU journey. And so when you're a student who's actively writing, for example, there's all of this writing help that you can access. The library is really helpful. If you need help with your referencing, with statistics for people who are doing that sort of thing, there's really help for everything. And so I would say it's all wrapped up in your tuition anyway. You might as well use the resources that are on campus for you to use. And I think those are my 2 main top tips, is to get involved, get connected, and also use the resources available.
Absolutely, Naomi. Thank you so much for that. And I do agree with both of you. There are a lot of opportunities and resources available for all our students. And it's available for them to avail right from the day they join ANU. So my suggestion to them would be, if you join ANU, it's best that you start getting yourself connected towards all of these activities. Do keep an eye on Orientation Week. Orientation Week is a fantastic opportunity to learn a lot about ANU and campus or off campus itself. So yeah, and so that actually brings us to the end of to the end of this session. I hope this information session has been able to give you a lot more insights about how an international student life looks like. If you want to know more about international student life, you can do check ANU Open Days virtual content, which is available for you right away. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Z.
Thank you.
It was really good talking to you. And for all our attendees, I hope you all stay well and safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.